I found a really great writing by Theolyptus of the Metropolitan of Philadelphia, written sometime in the 1200s, I think it was. And it outlines, in a very interesting way, in a way that I want to spend some time thinking about, the spiritual process from the perspective of what the divine is up to or how it kind of comes together within. So, like everything in the Philokalia, it's a Christian text, so it kind of packages it in a Christian language, but it's pretty straightforward and I don't know, beautiful. It goes like this: if through sincere, continual prayer you stand aloof from desire for earthly things, if you repose not with sleep, but through abandoning concern with everything except God, being steadfastly rooted solely in mindfulness of God, you will establish in yourself, like another helpmate, love for God. For the cry of the prayer that rises from within you releases divine love, and divine love awakens the intellect, revealing to it what is hidden. Then the intellect, united with love, gives birth to wisdom, and through wisdom proclaims the esoteric meaning of things. For the divine Logos, invoked in the cry of the prayer that rises from within you, lays hold of the noetic power of the intellect as though it were Adam's rib and fills it with divine knowledge, and in its place, bringing to perfection your inner state. He confers the gift of virtue. Next, he vivifies light-generating love and brings it to the enraptured intellect as it sleeps a sleep free from all desire for anything earthly. Love appears as another helpmate to the intellect liberated from mindless attachment to sensory things. It is because of this that it awakens the intellect, now in a state of purity, that permits it to embrace the words of wisdom. Then the intellect, gazing on love and filled with delight, speaks at length to others, disclosing to them the hidden dimensions of virtue and the unseen operations of divine knowledge. I love that sequencing of how these things come alive inside. It does help explain a little bit about how it's possible that at different states in our spiritual development, you just can't see. You know, I've continually, over all these years, these decades of practice, I'm always amazed at how I can read the same scripture 25 years ago and not at all garner the meaning that I'm able to garner from it now. You know, I garnered a meaning at that time that seemed appropriate for that time, but the deeper things that came out later in spiritual life were completely not available to me, even though it's the same scripture. And so I find it interesting how spiritual life unfolds even within ourselves. And I play with the idea that that's the nature of divine scripture, that scripture, every time you read it, it grows. It teaches you something different, even if you've read it 1,000 times before. And it makes a lot of sense when Sri Nisargadatta says that you should always read scripture as if you're reading it for the first time, because he says, in fact, you are reading it for the first time. The last time you looked at it, not one atom in the universe was in the same place that it is now. Not one thought in your mind was in the same place. And so it is a new experience. And when we read and when we study, we should open to it with that finesse, that acceptance of newness, that carefulness of newness, that attention that newness often brings out of us. So indeed, some words from Theolyptus for you.